Welcome to the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Mike.
Today we're here with another Summer of Saints episode, which we are calling Which Saint Was?
Which Saint was?
Yes, in a throwback, I am taking our idea from earlier where I go on incognito mode so it doesn't affect what the search is, and search for popular questions about, in this case, saints. So we have which saint was
Dun,
on our board, which is a little worse from the wear. And I have to say, y'all are really morbid.
Wait, you're telling me that the internet is a dark and morbid place? I am shocked. Shocked!
I'm not saying it's
Not
negative.
that-
I'm
not
just
that-
saying,
not
you
that
know,
shocked.
the majority of them about, how were they murdered?
Yay!
All the ways. All the ways.
Yes, but what are the top ways?
Well, the first question is, which saint was crucified upside down?
Ooh, ding, ding, ding.
Yep.
St. Peter.
Boom!
St. Peter, the original, as I understand the story, originally they were going to crucify him regular style and
As opposed to extra crispy.
Yeah.
as opposed to extra crispy. Original recipe, crucifixion. And because that was the way that Jesus was crucified, and St. Peter recognized that he was not equal to Jesus, he said, if you're going to do that, do it upside down or something to that effect. Essentially, don't do it that way. Do something different.
And so that's why, even though sometimes Satanists and other anti-Christians try to use the upside-down cross as an anti-Christian symbol, we recognize that that is just an ancient symbol of Peter.
Yep.
All right. Our next one is actually, it was two different questions. So one was, which saint was skinned alive?
That is dark.
And then another one was, which saint was flayed?
Also dark.
Different questions, yet technically
Same answer.
asking the same thing.
And that answer is... This is a good one for you, Nate.
Nathaniel?
Yes, also known as Saint Bartholomew.
All right. So either one of the two I would have been right.
Yes. In fact, there are several statues where Saint Bartholomew is depicted with sort of a toga thing wrapped around him and over his arm. But then when you look closer, that's not a toga, it's his own skin.
And then we have another twofer of shot with arrows / killed with arrows, which technically there's going to be multiple saints that were killed via arrows, but most people are only imagining like the icon of the guy who has that like kind of
Pincushion look.
And
and quite often the art shows him not so much in agony, but like
Well,
it's
and
hilarious sometimes.
it must be noted, that is not accurate. There was a saint who was famous for that pincushion look, but he was not killed by the arrows.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, he died later when they beheaded him. So, this will be known to big fans of REM. It's Saint Sebastian.
Ah.
And then we have another death of grilled alive.
This is one of our favorite saints.
The patron saint of barbecues.
We skipped one.
But
That's right. Grilled alive. Patron saint of
We'll
barbecues.
circle back.
Saint Lawrence.
All right.
Who is, according to legend, known to have said, "Can you turn me over? I'm done on this side," or something to that equivocation.
Unflappable, even in the face of imminent death and excruciating pain.
Yes, I accidentally skipped crucified on an X.
That would be the patron saint of Scotland, Saint Andrew.
Ah.
Who, it's similar to St. Peter's story in some legends that, he wanted it to be done in a way that wasn't the same as Jesus. Other people simply state that there was multiple different styles of crosses.
Yeah, especially because, that cruciform cross is the Greek letter chi, which is the first letter of Christ.
Next, we have which saint was stoned to death?
The most famous saint to be stoned to death had his death assented to by another saint. That would be the proto-martyr, Saint Stephen.
Yes.
Saint Paul was acting as the coat check boy when they were stoning Saint Stephen.
I don't know if that counts as assented to, but
The Bible says
He was the coat check.
The Bible said he assented to it.
Okay. I'm just saying, if you're the coat check guy, it strikes me that you're rather low on the totem pole.
But this was not like a formal establishment. He didn't have a separate room. He was just there, and they're like, "Hey, listen, can you hold my coat while I stone this guy?" And he's like, "Sure."
And then
That's fair.
we find out in Acts that he went around, continuing on trying to go and, kill
That's
Christians.
fair.
So it's not like it was like, he was some little kid and they all just threw their coats on top of him. He's like, help! No! He was
Also-
an adult who's like, yeah, I'll watch your cloak.
This is awesome. Let's do more of this.
Also, if you're like me and you wonder why it is that they refer to things as being low on the totem pole, when that's the part that's holding the whole rest of the totem pole up,
Well, that's
put
why.
that down in the comments below.
Well, that's why, because you've got to bear all the weight. So it's a
Right,
bad-
I'm just
it's a bad
saying,
job.
it's usually like a mark of one's authority or responsibility within, or position within a certain circumstance. You're low on the totem pole, but
I
realistically, the
understand.
low spot on the totem pole is the most important because there is no high up on the totem pole if there's not first low down on the totem pole.
Yes.
Later on, we'll have another episode about organizational theory and totem poles.
We
Probably
will not.
not.
We will not. But maybe if we resurrect the plot cast, we can talk about it there.
Yep. All right. Next is one that is part of the reason why we don't have it covered up, because we had to look this up. Everything else we could pretty much be like, I'm 95% sure, let me double check, or I know for sure. But we have the question of which saint was a soldier?
The answer is a
A
whole...
whole lot of them.
Yeah.
So I looked up.
There's St. Maurice and the whole Theban Legion.
Yes, I looked up ones
Saint
who are.
Ignatius of Loyola.
St. Martin of Tours.
I looked up ones who are patron of soldiers,
Ah.
because the majority of the ones who are patron of soldiers are soldiers. However, I also found ones that were never soldiers who are a patronage that I thought I'd put in there. So
Well, again, Therese of Lisieux, patroness of the missions.
Yes.
Never went on the missions.
Saint
So-
Joan of Arc.
she's on there.
She's one of them.
So, patrons of soldiers who in some way can be called a soldier include Saint Michael the Archangel, Saint George, Saint Martin of Tours, Saint Joan of Arc, Saint Adrian of
Nicomedia.
Saint Ignatius of Loyola, Saint Sebastian,
He of all the arrows.
Saint Andrew the General,
Yeah, I wonder what would make you think he was a soldier.
Saint Cornelius,
The Centurion.
Yeah, the first Gentile convert.
Saint Maurice, Saint Theodore Tryon. You guys want to do the next that are they're put together?
Saints Sergius and Bacchus.
Who always seem to be named together. I think they were like in the same military unit.
Well, yeah, Cyril and Methodius, they're always together.
Yep, but they were brothers, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
These were like just people who knew
Just
each
dudes.
other. Yeah. Saint John the Soldier.
Again, what would make you think he's connected with soldiers?
And Saint Agathius.
Yes. Including, there's probably more saints that are soldiers. These are just the most well-known. You're looking for a patron of soldiers. Here's a list.
Well, and realistically, there probably are a lot more saints
saints.
who are soldiers, because if you think about it, if you remember, a saint is simply someone who is in heaven. While we only really recognize the confirmed ones because there have been supernatural works to suggest that they are already there, there are probably many others who were already there.
Oh, yeah. Vincent Capodanno, Emile Capuan.
But ones that were soldiers, first we have the patron saint of the Marine Corps, who is known for being in charge of everything that goes boom.
Saint
Saint
Barbara.
One of our favorites.
Then,
If it blows
For
up,
many
it's
for many
Barbara.
reasons.
and then, for some reason, Santa Claus, aka Saint
Saint
Nicholas, is in charge of the Navy.
Yep.
Our Lady of Loreto,
Because he's a patron of seamen and whatnot.
yes, is the patron of the Air Force
Of course.
and largely like air military things.
Of course.
I have one where
Air power moved her whole house.
yeah, one where I'm like, I would think they'd had one beforehand. I know they're constantly changing the name of the country and stuff, but for some reason, the Italian army decided to pick a guy who grew up as a farmer and then became Pope of Pope St. John the 23rd as their patron.
Which is
Good
especially-
Saint Fat Jack.
Which is great. I invoke his intercession every day, but...
But not for your military maneuvers.
And the dude's been a saint for less than 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, what did the Italian army do before 2013? We'll be fine. We don't need a patron.
Maybe they just called on whatever local saint lived in their exact village.
prior
It
to
is Italy. There's a saint for every village.
Prior to that, they may have called on the intercession of Blessed John the 23rd.
But what about before he was blessed?
Venerable John the 23rd.
Okay, what did they do before 1963?
I imagine, at the very least, they could just 50 million titles of Mary. If you don't have patronage, just pick a title of Mary. That's your patronage.
I was really hoping. I was really hoping you let me get to sermon.
I didn't let you do the full Abraham. My apologies.
Anyway, and last I have Saint James the Great.
Yeah.
Who's in charge of soldiers, knights, in the Spanish military.
And giant thuribles.
Yes.
San Diego.
Because before a military fight, there was a vision of him. Mm-hmm. So, everyone's like, that saint appeared right before we had a fight and we won. He's in charge now.
Yep, that's why their battle cry was Santiago.
That is a cool battle cry.
It is.
I like the Italians.
I'm surprised.
Venerable
Fat Jack!
I was surprised the Navy didn't have something to do with Lepanto.
Our Lady of Victory?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just because, well,
it's a great victory, but most of the states that fought and won Lepanto don't exist anymore.
There is that.
Venice is part of Italy. The Papal States are part of Italy.
And our last one that is very exact, like someone was doing a school assignment.
It's very, very suspiciously specific.
No.
That could be a lot of people.
It could be a lot of people who. I bet there were a lot of saints who were burned at the stake in 1431 as a heretic.
Those British, they're always up to something.
They weren't British yet; they were just the English. I'm saying you can't blame the Scots for that.
Okay.
They were allied with France.
Anyways, that was St. Joan of Arc.
Who, again, also was covered in the previous one as she's a patron of soldiers.
But actually, though...
especially, females in the military. Being a female in the military.
Given that it was St. Joan of Arc, I could see how that might be attached to somebody's homework assignment, though.
She is one of the most famous saints.
There was the year of social studies where every year we did multiple little, playthrough things. And every single time, I was the person who was going to die. Like, we did It's a Black Plague. Your name is Anna. You're a 53-year-old widow. I'm like, how am I not already dead? So by the time we got to the trial of Joan of Arc, I'm like, just make me Joan of Arc. I die every single time.
There's just something about Jess that made people think of death.
Although, when we were doing, I believe, the end of World War I, I sneakily pretended like I was just trying to make everyone go and hate on Russia, when in fact that gave me the point victory. Let's just do this, guys. It'll be mean to Russia. Yeah! I'm like, and the winner is Jessica's group. And they're like, I didn't say it didn't help me, too.
All right, so
those
are the question. Those are the questions and the answers to which saint was. So
I think it says something really dark about our world that people aren't saying which saint was the most charitable or which saint was known for helping orphans, but which saint died in this horrible way. Which one died in this horrible way.
So what question?
Which one is helpful if you have a job where you make people die?
So what question word do you think we should ask Google next? Comment below with more preferably grim questions we can ask about saints.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I mean, last time we did it, we did it all around words. So we did what and who and why.
Which saint how?
Well, we can have how do saints or what, or why are saints? I mean, there's lots of questions that we could ask with regards to saints. Mm-hmm. So give us your ideas as to what question words we should ask the Googleplex.
Also, if in the background you heard what sounded like beavers were attempting to build a dam, it is because our puppy has decided that if she put her rawhide up against the leg of the table, it makes the sound even louder.
No, that's it, just against the floor.
Oh. Okay.
Nope. I have been blocking the table.
Most people don't realize the Popish plot actually has beavers on staff who are building a dam.
We do. It's magnificent.
And even though we tell them, no, not during shooting hours, they just don't listen.
Having seen enough people...
Busy little beavers.
Who had, like, wildlife things and they had to have the little pups inside.
Yep.
They love doing that. They'll throw anything they can in like, the doorway because that's a choke point, and they'll be like,
Yep.
"What are you doing?"
They have a thing for blocking off liminal spaces.
Yeah, they damn
They
things.
hate open spaces.
What they do. It's an instinct.
They walk up to a door where they say, "Damn you," and then follow it up with, "Don't mind if I do."
I remember an IMAX movie from when I was a kid. Beavers, the biggest damn movie you ever saw.
Oh,
As like a 10 or 11-year-old, that was extremely impressive.
yep. So, as we mentioned, go down below, share your question words that you think we should try and ask Google all about saints. While you're down there, hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it so you get notified of new episodes coming out.
Father Brad will just suggest who dat.
Who dat?
No, it's gotta be Saint who dat.
Who dat saint?
Both work.
Yep.
Until next time.
And make sure you hit the like button while you're down there. And until next time, remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
Share that love.